Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Yaniki. I'm currently waiting for the Viz website to update, but I decided I wanted to start adding live reactions to the channel, mostly because I wanted to one, I want to support Viz. Two, in my opinion, uh, actually, all right, I'm gonna wait for people to get in here. Let me pull up the. So yeah, let me real quick post this on Twitter. Try to get some viewers in here. Uh, Copy link. But yeah, right now the My Hero Academia chapter hasn't loaded on the Viz website, but it is on my phone. So we'll see how that goes and see if it'll actually give me, the chapter finally, or I'll just read it on my phone. We'll see. And there it is. All right, hold up. Let me. All right. We got the chapter here. All right, I'm reading because even if there's not a lot of people in here, I'll just end up inviting Archbishop East, Rex, still have a crowd. 258. All right. Okay. So already, this is kind of good because somebody commented a spoiler on a Discord chat that I was in, and I was like, "Oh yeah, hey, are you guys going to be talking about the chapter before official release?" And somebody instantly started discussing spoilers after the scans were out, so I couldn't read it, but I did see somebody mention that Burnin was flying. So it's good to know that the idea of Burnin or Shoto flying is actually just from the cover page and not about anything actually important to the story. So I didn't actually get spoiled, and that's a good thing. That's what I'm saying. I only saw a panel of everybody standing around, and that's when I decided I'm going off Twitter, going dark mode, try to not get spoiled. And then I read that somewhere, but luckily it's not a big deal actually. What's up twice? All right, so we got Hawks talking. Okay, turn it back the clock 2 months. We jump forward just to go back. You know what? I'm okay with that. Help. Oh, Red Tier 2. 1 week passed since the hint about the hospital. Okay. This is okay. Okay. I actually like this. Twice. Let's see. Flip. Telling Hawks to come here. What should I say our mission statement is? Spinner and Compress have been in meeting for days. Giron and Dobby can't be bothered, and Toga's cute as ever, so you got to help me out, Prof. See, I like the fact that Twice always the idea that he's crazy is very much who he is, but the reality is that crazy people are not 100% crazy 100% of the time. And so the fact that he has these grounded moments where he's like, all right, I got to work on my speech for the mission statement, Spinner and Compress, they've been in these meetings, and they're like, all right, yeah, Giron and Dobby can't be bothered. Definitely sounds like a Dobby thing. Dude is not going to be involved with a bunch of nonsense on the formalities aspect. Giron, at this point, I just feel like he's just whatever. They cut off my fingers. I'm here because the league protects me. All valid. And then him segueing into Toga being cute, still in line with him, one, asking her to marry him when he was really freaking out on an overhaul arc. Two, is just she's the adorable person in the group. It's not about her power level necessarily for him. He's just this is my friend, and she's not going to be doing this because she's too busy doing other things. So yeah. Page 3. Many in this regiment are harboring doubts. Ooh. You may be a figurehead who was simply handed your position, but we ought to hear the mission statement from your own lips. Whew. Ooh, that's a position for Twice right there. That is not who Twice is. That's not really who most of the league is. So I was like, gotta take it up. You know what? Yeah. Go take an anxiety poop. So now I'm here, help. And Hawks is laughing hysterically. I like this. I like the buildup between like him and Hawks. This is also going to make it suck when he either like Hawks betrays him, because Twice cares a lot about friends. So the idea of him becoming attached to Hawks and then getting betrayed here is really going to do some damage to Twice's psyche. That might be what makes or breaks who wins this war, is like Twice realizing Hawks is a traitor to the Paranormal Liberation Front, thus to their friendship. Just saying, that's an important thing to be on the lookout for. You do a good impression of a Sanctum. He's the longest serving member of the Liberation Army. The Paranormal Liberation Front is split into 2 regiments. In the regiments, the League members and former MLA commanders lead the regiment most suited to them. All right. In a single month's time, Hawks memorized how the members are all organized. This is a major key. All right, I like this. Hawks using that intelligence. Got the brief. Okay. All right. Let's see. The 3 most capable members of each regiment serve as advisors to the lieutenants. The Vanguard Action Tactics Regiment, Black. Okay, first off, we got a granny-looking ass motherfucker, which you already know that like Horikoshi loves Gran Torino enough that he or old, like the short old dude trope enough. This granny probably got heat. I'm just saying, like, don't be surprised. We got a dude I like this because it shows like you got like the wholesomeness and like this granny looking person and Twice's advisor. You got this crazy looking dude in the middle with the snaggle teeth. I don't know what's going on there. And Mr. I say with the glasses and bifocals and the mustache. Horikoshi loves mustaches. That was one of the things he was sad about killing Snatch for. So it makes sense for him to bring that back. With the sole exception, these advisors are in charge of bases throughout the country. With a sole exception, sorry. Vanguard Action Guerrilla Warfare Regiment, Violet, led by Dabi and Gaten. Is that the case? Or is that they have 2 different regiments that are both Violet? Which, you know what? They're both like the giant spammer, AoE, destructive types. 1, 2, 3. See, and the other thing about this that's important is that when this war pops off, we don't have to worry about the kids like overstepping their bounds still. They'll probably be dealing with their commanders and or the people, like the lieutenants under the advisors, not the actual commanders themselves. So that's fine. Toga, Vanguard Action Intelligence Regiment, Carmine. Yes. Toga is the one who stole blood, infiltrated Shiketsu. This is all checking out. Given the responsibilities at the bases, they didn't participate in the revival party in Deka City, but their abilities surpass those of the average hero. This is good to know. That also proves that not everybody from the Meta Liberation Army was there during the big war. So there you go. If they make the first move, we lose. Despite constant surveillance limiting his actions, Hawks was able to learn about the members without drawing suspension, thanks to the interpersonal skills drilled into him from a young age by the Safety Commission. And what he observed was animosity and resentment towards the current system. Individual freedom should reign supreme. We're going to destroy the status quo. Something like that, yeah? Ooh. Also, a word or two about loyalty to Redestro. Huh? Since it's him and his bloodline that managed to unite all these people, if I ain't feeling it, I ain't saying it. So I just gotta sing the guy's praises? Awesome, thanks a bunch. There is one more specific goal. Bringing down the status quo means annihilating all heroes. I like the fact that All Might is still in people's minds the symbol of heroism. Even though he's retired, the clash with AFO took all the power from him, we're still obsessed and focused on All Might. And that's an interesting way of showing how society stays stuck on big things that don't matter as much anymore. Because in the grand scheme of things, all these villains are rampaging and making these moves because of the fact that All Might's not here. So it's just something to think about. They plan to attack all major cities at once throughout the nation. With society brought to a lawless standstill, hold on. Redestro and the Hearts and Mind Party will storm the political world. They will distribute weapons and extol the virtues of self-defense, calling it true freedom. Just as when laws lost their meaning following the advent of the exceptional, These people will throw the world into chaos and enthrone Shigaraki atop the rubble. The second coming of All for One. Ah, you're doing stellar work, man. I knew you were a swell guy. It's thanks to you. Whoo! Right back at you that the pieces are in place, Jin Bubaigarara. Oh, man. This is actually... This is shaking up to be kind of scary. I don't know. This is... Horikoshi's actually in his bag. I don't know. When I heard that you'd conquered your trauma... Behave, right hand of mine. A chill ran down my spine because at that moment, you went from being just another 2-bit villain to the asset we ought to fear most. You know what? This is what we needed to see. We need this fear is exactly what I think a lot of us were discussing during My Villain Academia when Twice first kind of was like, nah, fam, I'm not that crazy dude no more. And now we got him out here, them fearing this properly is it's good to see, because a lot of times people don't take villains that are crazy as seriously as they should, or but it's like, I know that you're a good-natured boy. For a hero, you sure know a lot about the Liberation Army. Why is that? Because I empathize with their cause. The world I once admired and dreamt of joining turned out to be a birdcage locking me up. Oh man. See, all right, I'm gonna keep reading. This is I Want to Fly Free. A cage isn't where I belong. Dog, he's really about to hurt Twice. Twice does not deserve this. God, I wish they'd stop spying on you and let you meet Shigaraki. I wonder why I haven't gotten to meet him yet. He's powering up in some mountain near Kyoto. Oh, it's gonna take 4 months. That's off the record. Yeah, I know Mr. Long Black Hair is listening in, but whatever, it's fine. I mean, you're working yourself to the bone for us already. I get how you feel. Yo, this chapter is basically all I'm getting out of this is either Twice or Hawks is dying by the end of this arc. So you better strap in. Hey, Hawks. Anyone who helps his friends can't be all bad. And since I know you're good natured, let's fly free together. Oh, fuck. This is tough. Ready to try our best as a first year? Hold on. Ready to try our best as first year die? Oh, man. Getting to see the All Might statue. And then all the heroes pulling up with the strap. Let's go. All right. Miracle, Endeavor, Eraserhead. We got the Wild Pussycats on deck. Ryukyu, Rock Lock. See, that's one of the things I like is Horikoshi being consistent. Let's see. Can I zoom in here? Any other designs? Pretty sure we saw this dude with the weird wings on his eyebrows. Wash. The Rescue Hero backdraft all the way from chapter 1. The fact that I remembered that. Let's see. Oh, there's the dude that was covered in hair at the overhaul arc. Manual is here. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's Crust. That's right. It's Crust. Boom. Yeah. Okay. So we got and Gran Torino, of course, at the front. We need to at some point. I need to find out where Gran Torino is supposed to rank, or because this dude is just out here being extra clutch, but not getting any of the clout for it. Spring break's almost over, huh? Oh, so yeah, we really fast forwarded. We're going on a trip for our work study. Oh, you're right. You girls too. For real? Oh boy, same here. We've also got a trip planned for that day. Huh? What's up with that? Hang on, us too. Me too. Ooh. This is some. And then, the Deku Iron Souls. You can see they're scratched up. Little extra scuff. I love it. What's up with that? Hang on, us too. Me too. There are heroes in those foothills. We're going to back them up and help evacuate the city. All right. Final page. All right. Let's see. Let's really get a proper look at this, though. Because you've got, let's see. You see Bakugo back in the spring outfit. The muscle definition on the boys is improved. Shoto's got new gauntlets. Let's see. It looks like Ochako's gauntlets might have been slightly remodified one more time. Let's see. And like with Deku, we don't see too many like costume changes. So whatever like other quirks he's acquired, if he's acquired any other ones besides float, do not seem to be impacting his ability or require new support items. But then again, there could be something in the belt for that. I don't know. Overall, I'm actually, I like this. This is actually a pretty good chapter. I'm sticking with this. I might actually, School Breeze Falling 4. All right, so this was actually a really good chapter. I need to invite Archbishop East and Rexor because they're going to come in here and talk a bit about how they felt about this chapter. Let me real quick hit East up with this. East. Let's see. Let's get Rex. Let's just real quick slide this in here. Yeah. I need my boys in here because I got to talk about this. A lot of stuff's happened in this chapter, actually, like a lot. And the setup for what's to come is actually kind of intense. But I don't know if you guys feel like that's what's happening. Let me know if that's where you feel like things are going, because that's definitely how I'm feeling about this right now. Like, where I'm at, like this is looking pretty like it, because what this chapter has done is set it up so that we can see legitimate reasons for Hawks to feel conflicted, even within his facial expressions, where whether Hawks betrays the heroes at the end of this or he sticks to his guns, both are believable routes right now. And I think that's an especially impressive thing that Horikoshi has done here. Archbishop East.
Am I around here?
Can you hear me, buddy?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? That's the question. Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear me.
East, are you there?
Oh, no, he can. Yeah. Oh, shit.
I pulled you into the stream already, bud.
Hello? Can you hear?
Vocals not working?
All right. There we go.
All right, what's up? Anybody who just got here, we finished the chapter right now, just bringing some people in to talk about how we feel about it. Obviously, you guys got anything to say about, like, how did you guys feel about this chapter, actually, if I'm being honest? Because I like it, at least 9 out of 10. Setup chapters can be rewarding at times. So how you guys feeling about what we got here today?
How is everybody feeling? Man, oh man.
Like, because like for me, this is Hawks is in a position and Twice is in a position because we know that like they know he told him directly, yo, Shigaraki's at the mountain. So with that, it's kind of like we know exactly who they will, if they decide, oh, we need to like take somebody out because they have loose lips, who's getting killed. So it's weird to me, like you gotta think like either they kill off Hawks or they end up killing off Twice, or Shigaraki gets done early and it doesn't matter. Like I don't know. It's kind of heavy right now. Like, which is interesting that this arc has me thinking more about how the villains and the double agent are gonna feel than necessarily like how it's gonna impact the students right now. But it is what it is.
Double strong. I'm proud surprised you even waited for Viz this time around.
I mean, I've been wanting to switch to Viz for a while anyway. So I saw like that the last page is technically what got spoiled for me, like one of those things that got spoiled for me, seeing everybody standing there. But that was such a small detail that like it just made me go, I want to wait and see what this is setting the stage for, and so even if they're just supposed to be helping with evac, we already know that that's not how it's going down. Like,
I talked about if you think this is gonna go just how it seems to be, then you haven't been reading My Hero, because as y'all know, this is highly character driven. So there's a bunch of pieces to the puzzle that's always running that we don't know about. We don't, and my theory is that even the fact that Shiggy might actually finish sooner than expected.
And that's the thing.
What's that?
Well, that's the thing though, is that like that's a justified feeling because of the fact that the doctor directly states you're even more perfect than I thought. And they're cutting it close by going in March, late March. So if he's even more perfect than the doctor thought, there's a chance that like that got bumped up a week or two when he's just like sitting there kind of more of a recuperating, not necessarily being worked on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even that motherfucker may not even be there.
That too. Like we don't, because the other thing is,
what's that?
Twice is not necessarily like Twice is reliable, but he's not. So there's also a chance that he doesn't even know that where Shigaraki is for real, and he might be about to be sending people into the Gigantomachia grinder. You know what I mean? Like,
you think they'll use their ace soon? You think they use their aces soon? I mean, I wouldn't put it beyond them because he is the ace in the hole, but I wouldn't put it beyond them. I mean, now it can just be good fun.
That's the thing is that like I don't see why they wouldn't use Gigantomachia, and even Reed Destro himself is actually a giant threat for heroes. Just off the fact that if he gets angry enough to pull out some of those city level attacks, he's wiping out a good chunk of forces.
I can't wait to see what this is going to look like. But as far as the fight is concerned, like how do they even make it in the base? If they make it in the base, how the fuck is he going to do the action and choreography for that?
The other issue that I'm like having is we know that if they're stationed at different bases around the world or around the country, then like it would make sense that not all of them would be at this one particular location. So I think we're gonna have to be cutting between like the UA kids, the Ketsugutsu kids, and the Shiketsu kids, which is the only way it'll make sense for multiple factions to be involved in this arc. Also, that spread of them destroying the city is gorgeous. Like it's dark, but especially
what I like about the visual one this time is that people were confused when they said the resurrection of Awful One, and everybody got confused. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely not what they meant. Because trying to rise up, and everybody knows that's Shiggy's. He's Shiggy's, predecessor. He's on Shiggy's predecessor. So
yeah, like if you take that too literally, then yeah, you're going to be a little confused. But the implication is legitimately, hey, what up, Shisui? That he's taking the new spot. Shisui's in the chat right now.
Rude?
You ain't notice?
I can't see because it acts stupid.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Shisui up in here. See, and like it's weird to me to think that first off, Slide and Go was actually ranked up higher than I thought. Like I gotta address that real quick because he's with an R2D2 looking ass dude, but like at this point I think that's more importance of the role than necessarily or like his role than it is his power level though that gets him there, because he's a unassuming type hero, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was actually hoping to find more like this person is definitely a hero people in the Liberation Army factions or like behind the people that they were showing. But none of these dudes, from what I can remember, besides Slide and Go, have been revealed to be heroes and focused on in previous panels. Unless also this one chick looked kind of like a Milotic, not gonna lie. One of the people in the Spinner and Compressed faction looks like Milotic a little bit.
Oh, speaking of, we actually know one of their names already, other than Slide and Go, punk ass.
Who would I miss?
Actually, the top one in Toga's faction on Carmine, his name is Red. And how we know that is he's the exact same person that Twice pulled up and said, "Oh, hey, it's Red." And then the Hawks looks back. Then Red waves his hand at the same time. Right after
Huh.
that.
See, there's always the small details, bro. And like this is my first reading, so I can't catch them all. But like,
Yeah.
also the fact that this chapter being named "Friends" is
That's his name.
yeah, Horikoshi is very on the nose about like how he names some of his stuff. Like when he named the chapter where Night Eye died, Bright Future. This one he's naming it Friends, and we get to really see like Twice and Hawks do have a friendship building up here. It's just it's kind of one sided, and if that's it's tragic for. I just
Somebody said about Hawks not Hawks. Twice's death flag rising, and now before I'd be like, nah, he making an end game, but now if they do something to Hawks Twice, man.
that's what I was saying earlier. Is that this chapter can be interpreted as lots of death flags for Twice or lots of death flags for Hawks, because inadvertently. Because what could happen here is, have you ever watched The Godfather Part 2?
Yes, the trilogy is amazing.
The Fredo problem. Where you get axed because you're a liability, not even because you necessarily did anything wrong. You just said the wrong shit to the wrong people, and we can't afford to risk that no more.
Yeah, and then you just chop, do. But they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't go against Shiggy. They probably lie to him because Shiggy wouldn't allow any of his peoples to actually be touched.
See, but the question becomes, but like Shiggy might do it himself.
At the same, about that?
Like on one hand, I feel like Shigaraki loves his people and he's legit, so he wouldn't do that to them. But on the other hand, we know Michael loved his family, and did that stop him from putting Fredo in the dirt? Like,
but I feel like it's like a scale difference here. Though, you know what I'm saying? Like a scale difference here.
Twice is on a bigger scale. Like this is even more important. Like that was just some business. Like that was just a couple kids that almost got blown up. Twice is about to compromise the entire paranormal liberation front.
Squid just made a good point. He said, "Are we really not going to talk about Sanctum? A dude so old he might tie back to Redestro himself."
Hold up. Wait, where's Squid say that at?
He said on Discord, he tagged me. That's the only reason I even know about him saying that. He tagged
me. Hey, Squid, you spoiled. Hold up. I gotta yell at Squid real quick. Oh. Man. Okay, so the thing about characters like Sanctum is that whatever, like, I'm not gonna pretend like I can guess their story, but I do think it's important to even have like somebody who will. It kind of comes down to when do you think Destro rose up, which has to be within the past, like not within the past, but somewhere between 40 to 60 years ago, depending on what time. Like we need to find out how old Redestro is, one. Then we need to figure out why or how Sanctum managed to not get taken out with Destro back in the day. Because that could actually be a really important aspect. I just don't know like what his role will be in the story enough, just because like him being the longest serving member just isn't enough to do too much.
You see, that's why it's so funny that Horikoshi, you think you know what should happen, or you feel like something should have happened, but then when it reverberates down the line, you see that Horikoshi is smarter than you and he knows the story better than you do. Because now imagine if imagine if the league actually killed Redestro and everybody. They would not have had all this. They would have had like 100,000. They wouldn't have had all the equipment and all the same people running the game.
Well, part of it
having all you got Redestro really running the shit with Shiggy and his team and like other stuff too. While Shiggy's powering. So
one of the big mistakes a lot of people made was they were like, they're like Shigaraki can't kill him. Shigaraki can't, like, they didn't want the league to win. But they also adamantly did not like the idea of like the league losing. It was kind of weird because the community hit this weird vortex of, oh, if Shigaraki loses, like it's because they're trash, and like that proves he was a bum the whole time. But then it was like if Redestro dies, then Horikoshi doesn't know how to use other villains. He threw them away, and they're all wasted just for Shigaraki's growth. And I don't even like that character. And what ended up happening is a bunch of people ended up liking Shigaraki more. Redestro didn't die. The League didn't lose, and instead, the story is in its most important and intense stakes that it's ever been at. And for me, that was stuff that I kind of expected because I think if you remember going back, I started my channel during My Villain Academia, and I was saying the best way for this to end, the most rational way, would be for Shigaraki to take over the League because he embodies it. And sure enough, that's the conclusion that Redestro came to. He was like, "Oh shit! Like you just out here destroying everything."
And me and Shisu were feeling different about that at first. Then as the stakes went on, it started to add up more. And what people don't seem to get is that that's always been in Redestro's character. Did you not see him fade his assistant just because he didn't agree with Redestro's ideology?
Exactly.
So imagine somebody you actually care about, you faded them because they didn't agree, and he was just talking about how we was gonna bring you in. Imagine somebody that embodied the fucking ideals of what he was all for. Of course, he fucking stood up there and be on that man dick.
Exactly. And like the thing is that people act like if it wasn't all like it was specifically about like quirk liberation, quirk embodiment, then you kind of should expect the dude that's the most quirk liberated on the planet to be out here, more or less being accepted by the group that he's attacking because like that's literally what they want ultimately. You can't give somebody what they want and not end up friends. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You can't embody everything somebody's dreamed of, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, it's nothing, no big deal.
Yeah.
Like,
I truly believe that. Yeah, I truly believe that Shiggy and them are really actually they know. Look at the key details. Hori doesn't waste the panel. They even kept bringing up how, Skeptic is dark, nice long black hair dude. He may be listening right now, but I don't care. You're working yourself to the bone. After he told him about Shiggy being the mountain, and then to think that in the chapter before this, look at the key details. Why would we cut the Ujiko out of all people? And then she even notes that Dr. Uchiko, what a nice surprise.
Yep, like he was not expected to be there that day. So something like there's a good amount of off about this operation. And I think what's really about to happen here is because of the fact that Twice revealed where Shigaraki is. They're going to expect him to kind of pull up at some point close to around. So even though they said the festival was for the festival was too important to have like their faction members and leaders all around the world or around the country in one spot, they might just take this as an opportunity, especially with us knowing that the Redestro and the Hearts and Mind Party have already been in there, to more or less send a couple extra of those advisors into the main town, of course. But then, one, if they do it right, they can get rid of the League by like having some of them die in combat. And two, they can more or less guarantee that a big enough event happens where it's like, hey, within the past year, we've had Kamino, we've had a Kyushu incident, we've had the Deka City incident, which, the Paranormal Liberation Front manufactured, and we've had whatever town this is going to be in incident. And whatever the city that they're in is, I don't think it's going to be standing.
No, definitely not.
This is like, in my eyes, the battlefield that they're on right now is going to be hammered. Like that image that it shows you of Shigaraki and them walking is what this city is about to turn into. There's almost no way I see this city actually standing at the end of this, and then that will be the mark. Like this whole city actually got leveled. That might lead to the dissolvement of the UA hero courses or general hero courses because the self-defense laws will be enacted, which means that some people will choose to operate and act as heroes. And then that'll be essentially like my heroes transition into like the dark ages. And then we'll get even further along where they might start banning people from even being proactive. And we just end up with like a self-defense lawless society, especially with people like Dabi and Gaten on the same team, even though you realize there's like a bit of a accountability like factor in balancing out. And I like the fact that outside of Spinner's brigade, every single person that's like a high liability has enough people around him from the paranormal liberation front to keep them in check, or the people who are specifically considered very volatile do, i.e. Toga and Dobby. And then like Twice, because he's a little nutty, like he's got probably I wouldn't be surprised if he actually has like the strongest liberation member commanders under him specifically to keep him in check. Because he is, as Hawks directly stated, one of the most threatening people. And I love the panel of him dropping multiple hood chains, because that's exactly what you need to fear. Is regardless of the clone's durability, the fact that they have high speed regen, it might actually factor into whether or not they, fucking just die. So I think that's some heavy stakes right there. Oh, hey, Squid.
Yeah, Squid's up. How many people we got watching us? I sent the link around.
It's about 9 people, but it's my first live reaction, so whatever, it's cool. We'll just build up the audience over time. And the Viz revealed to be the longest serving member. He possibly, yep. I just woke up. No, I'm not mad at you for getting here a little late, Squid. Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure you dropped one of the likes, so that's all I can ask for. No, and like that Let's Fly Free Together panel. Hawks is one of the things that I've always said, and I'm probably going to, when I finally do a video on Hawks, it's going to really be hammered home, is Hawks is the epitome of everything good and bad about Hero Society. And that he genuinely does seem to be caring and connecting with Twice because he's actually supposed to be a good person. But you think back to what he said, the reason why I can get along with people is because of the lessons that I was made to take. Like, it's important to remember that Hawks, for all intents and purposes, is what the people who run the Hero Society Commission think of as the ideal hero. One who's willing to sacrifice civilians, one who's willing to, and that goes to show you like the disconnect between like what Hero Society and the Hero Commissioners think of as a hero, and what people like Stain, people like Deku, people like Mirio, like all the different, like the disconnect between the heroes and the Hero Commission on what it means to be a hero is growing more and more obvious throughout the series. And then the disconnect between what heroes think being a hero means, and then like what it ends up meaning for like the civilians, and then what it means to the villains. All these things, everybody's on a different page here as far as the factions go. And I think Horikoshi is doing a great job of setting up exactly how people end up at these different like junctures. If you're, a mutant type and you've been getting discriminated against forever, then like, yeah, you're gonna be like, yeah, well, the heroes just maintain the status quo. They don't really help out. They don't look out for guys like us. They just, show up and punch a couple people doing crimes every now and then. They don't address the fact that mutants get discriminated against. So therefore, sometimes we don't have jobs, and that's how we end up stealing. They don't talk about that. Heroes just show up to punch us in the face. And so like there's like, if you read Vigilantes, that's kind of where a lot of it goes. And they even show you that, if the poor areas don't have as much support as the better ones or the newer ones that are more, rich and affluent. And then when you think about Hawks, it has never had a choice. He was born into a poor family, and then he saved people. Then yep, exactly. And that's something that I see a lot of people don't talk about, Squid, is that specifically the Hawks having to be molded since he was 5. And we know that he was like an Endeavor fan, so he was obviously going to be willing to put in the work and train hard and do what it takes to have an easy life with his family. But it wasn't, he didn't set out to become a hero. He was basically conscripted. And so I think that's a reflection of where society is also going, if I'm being honest. What you think is happening next week, Archbishop? You got any predictions?
Oh, somebody called me? Oh yes, completely. I know. We're seeing this is how Hori, I know Hori operate. He finna set everything, but same way he set everything back up. We always doing the runaround. So when it's really clear is when he does the runaround for these hype ass arcs, you always gotta pay attention to what happens at the end of each arc. Remember who's the key crucial point of this arc. The hero's not the key crucial point. He's not going to. The hero's the key crucial point pulling up on Shiggy and them. They're already gonna be at the base of the mountain. They're gonna be like, by the time we see heroes again, they're gonna be setting them. Okay, we need to do this. We need to get to the mountain this way, and we'll be seeing them do that. So what's important to get out of the way now is where we ended at on a chapter. So we're going to focus on the kids again because what they're doing is less important or less hype as to the heroes who are doing a real deal mission, which the kids still don't even know about. They're just evacuating the city. They don't know they're pulling up on Shiggy and the fucking PLF. They don't know shit. They just know, hey, we went really far. Oh wow, we're evacuated. So he's going the same way he end that chapter on this is that the same way like he did the whole 2 months thing. He was like, let's cut back. 3 months things like, all right, let's cut back 2 months real quick to where Hawks is doing how he figured everything out. So now we're going to play with the kids doing their thing. And then we're gonna cut back with the Shiggy stuff. When we find out Shiggy most likely not there in the Ujigo shit, we're most likely gonna find out. Cause I bet you money that the city getting attacked.
It might even be used as bait, political, for like as a way to say that, hey, since they attacked, blah blah blah, they did all this. You see, the heroes are corrupt. They were going after this, especially if they spin it into like this is an innocent thing, and we got attacked, and we wanted to defend ourselves, so we didn't know what was going on. We thought the heroes were being corrupt. You could spin it a lot of ways for the amount of heroes they have, and the thing is that they do have, like, because they have political members, because they have such access to technology, that they could really spin this, depending on how the final chapter goes, into some whole other stuff right here. Like, because okay, so in the fish, she says, "Good morning, doctor, you're a rare sight." But I still think that, like, the fact that he's up here and not down there with Shigaraki is still a big tell, because as first off, Ujiko was excited in that surgery. Like, this is the culmination of a lot of his work. This is him trying to beat his own quirk singularity theory to a certain degree. So the amount of effort that he's putting into this, I don't think he'd just be up here leaving that experiment unchecked necessarily. So I can't, it's hard for me to believe anything other than the surgery finished sooner and Shigaraki's awake. He's coming for you. And hide your kids, hide your wives. Like, it's about to be tough. But that's okay.
Yeah, it is. So when should I get into when should I get into the Kodak crack?
Man, go for it right now. Spit it.
All right, y'all. It was so simple. It was in our faces. Everything you have ever complained about for the kids or the heroes being greater than the kids is all coming together right now. And I figured it out, and I was like, damn, this motherfucker smart. This motherfucker is smart as shit. So we know how. What's one of the biggest complaints about 1A?
Don't get enough development of the side characters, which is false, but whatever. And they don't get to fight villains. That's the big one.
Yep. So then why do people value or like the heroes that have more heroes in their top 10 other than the kids?
Because they saw them get them moments.
Exactly. So explain to me what is the entire theme of My Hero essentially for the kids and the heroes.
You're not even wrong. As the generations go on, they gotta come in here and surpass them.
Exactly. So tell me what this is the pinnacle. Tell me exactly what happens when the heroes lose, and it all counts on the contingency plan of the kids to rise into the next generation.
Exactly. So how many of the top 10 you got dying?
I got at least 5 on my radar dying right now. This is where it really gets. This is where the theory really gets good. Horikoshi, this is how you add depth to each and every person. So everybody can't have a cool backstory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can't have this. Everybody can't have that. So this is what I figured. I was like, wait. So I started piecing together. I was like, wait, this is the same. Every person they be like, I don't care. This motherfucker died. This motherfucker died. You do realize that everybody that you got goaded within one chapter, all your faves from design to everything in one chapter, literally Horikoshi wrote. And ain't nothing to him write a backstory. Ain't nothing to him draw a clean ass design. So everybody that you praising just like this and that and other, don't say you dislike them or they ain't shit. Because horror can make you feel one thing in one chapter. You never know what people have behind their veils, their curtains. So if you don't have anything behind their veils, how do they really become goated? Now I put this together. I said, damn. Now with the heroes losing, imagine what each and every one of these kids will go through. All the growth they learned over the past 3 months, entire first year, it will be the culmination of nothing. Imagine you work your ass off. You in the streets. You doing this. You doing that. But when the time matters the most, when the heroes are needed the most, they lose the entire thing. So imagine a kid's feelings when the heroes get dusted and they were over here evacuating citizens. And then you can go into it even deeper and more so is that Horikoshi, remember, this is where I tied it back. The media chapter is pinnacle importance for the heroes losing because Horikoshi will single handedly break every single person's "I am here" moment for them individually. What happens to Kirishima when he is the wall that gets broken? What happens when the people behind him bleed? What happens when he can't break the will faster than his body breaks? You got that snap. What happens when Ochiko, the hero that saves other heroes, can't save the other heroes? Snap back to that moment. Everybody that had their own moment, or what happened was that either the fastest person on the scene can't say who they want to save. Well, all the people that had their little media moments, when that ties back in, to they could get the entire spirits crushed. They lost their all might. They lost their superiors. They lost everything. The crush from that and how Horikoshi handles PTSD and the amount of trauma they'll go through, and maybe even lose someone from 1A or get to have people with disabilities, and then have the time skip to at least their third years where they're young adults borderline the young adults, teenagers borderline young adults. The entire and then the levels to their characters and the depth that would be added is everything everybody been asking for. This entire time, all the shit you've been asking for will come back tenfold because now so when the kids come back, it'll be their time to shine because it won't be the heroes. They're the contingencies plan. They're what everybody's banking on. So this whole first half, this whole prologue was just the kids growing up. Now it's time, and that whole first year was really pivotal because we don't need the second year. It's never been mentioned, aforementioned, except for one time with Aizawa. So that's there for a reason. So and they even mentioned how to say what's up.
There's something that I said in my last video about how the Origin Trio are basically, because of the way that they got their licenses, it's important to remember that they got like Deku specifically was behind the other two pretty much the entire series up until he gets a provisional license, which is what allows him to go get some more experience to catch up to the other two in a better, more like grounded sense. So part of that was like, as much as people say that, like Deku's going to get up like way far ahead of everybody, it's important to remember that Shoto and Bakugo were specifically benched for like 4 months in story time, effectively, so that Deku could catch up to them, so that they would all three be able to progress. Because it's important to remember that Shoto's quirk, it supersedes, just like Overhaul's quirk. This is something that's important. Shoto and Overhaul exist, in my opinion, at like the point of singularity, where quirks stop becoming biological functions and they just start functioning like superpowers, like if regulated correctly. Because Overhaul, with the main thing with quirks is that because they're physical abilities, they have drawbacks. Overhaul, consistently being able to overhaul his body, allowed him to constantly remove any of the stress. So if you think about it, you have quirks that exist at the point of singularity, I would say, and then there's beyond singularity, which is where One for All is. Bakugo's explosion, I would say, is a quirk that exists at singularity because of the fact that it allows him to develop super strength due to the fact that he has to be durable enough to withstand the recoil of his explosions, which increases his durability. It gives him range projectiles. It allows him to fly. It gives him the ability to create like blinding flashes for utility, also like audio distortion. So he's basically a living concussion grenade as well as an actual grenade. Bakugo's quirk does a bunch of shit just being one quirk. Same way that Shoto's allows him to regulate the downsides of using, ridiculous amounts of heat and cold. So we have multiple at singularity quirks, and then we have somebody who's beyond it in Deku. So yes, Deku can eventually like get ahead of them, but he'll never realistically be so far ahead of them that it feels like there's no purpose to their existing in the way that this is structured, especially with this being the prologue, because this is one, even if Deku is stronger than them and like unequivocally stronger, that doesn't mean Horikoshi can't write interesting fights for them. So even if Deku is like fighting Shigaraki, playing the floor is lava, that doesn't mean somewhere else in a different city or in a different part of the area that we can't have a Bakugo fight, we can't have a Shoto fight. In fact, one of the things that I'm looking forward to most, even though I don't know if we'll actually get it now ever, especially with the sports festival potentially being killed after this arc, is Deku versus Kachan 3, specifically because if that's executed correctly, it can easily end up being an aerial battle that basically brings like the ridiculousness of like the DBZ stuff, but to the actual coordination of Horikoshi with the explosions, dotting the sky as he's moving around in the black whip tendrils to try to keep up and all these other things. So like that was something that I was looking forward to, but I don't think it's happening with this whole giant war on the horizon.
And to clarify, I don't have that big of a following, but it still doesn't change the fact that. Let me clarify something for y'all. There will be a time skip. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Oh yeah,
shorter. It could be shorter, but there will be a time skip. If y'all legit gonna say, if y'all just sit here and legit read and say that there's not gonna be time skip, you're not reading. First of all, the heroes will lose this battle. Second of all, the kids have to grow. Like I don't know. What, like,
I mean, if you watch Vinland Saga, you know nothing shakes characters like losing their teachers. If you the way Vinland Saga set up these characters is like they lose somebody important, and then like that's finally what gets them to question. And the thing is that you even see this with Ochako's. Ultimately, what changed her mind. This is also why I hate when people say that she's directly she's like another Sakura or anything like that, because her growth, that led to her perspective shift on how to be a hero was not what happened with Deku necessarily, but it was like, all right, Deku's doing this other stuff. I can't really help him with that. Night Eye is dying. I can't help him with that. Everybody's exhausted. We basically have to hope that Deku wins or we're fucked. And so that's not, oh, I want to impress Deku. I'm in love with Deku. No, it's actually basically her saying, I'm not a good enough hero to do the things that I need to be able to do. And it's directly tied to the fact that Night Eye essentially was going to die in her arms. Even if he didn't, he might as well have, because there was never anything they could do to save him. And so I think it's important to, wow. All right. I just saw something that, wow, trending. No, I'm like seeing the trends on Twitter, right? And so one of them is Dragonite, which is an interesting thing to have trending, but then it's like coronavirus. And I'm like, all right, a pandemic. Then it's like white male rage and men are responsible for the next two. I was like, all right. What? I see. See, Twitter's angry this Sunday morning.
They didn't realize Viz was out.
Like clearly not, because niggas angry tweeting when they should be angry reading. And also the amount of blood, like the ink splatters that Horikoshi threw on the page, just I feel like a lot of people are going to be surprised by what happens in this arc, but I think it's going to all be because they've been trying to convince themselves for the past 5 years now that MHA is purely a child's manga, and it's not deep, it's not any of these other things, and they're going to see this unravel. I might.
It's funny because I just seen like a stupid ass take on that earlier today.
I believe it.
My heroes, my heroes like it's overhyped. Just like it's just like Naruto a lot. It was like no GB, just like in the future I could see it being just for kids, just like Naruto. I was like, what?
Even Naruto wasn't just for kids.
Like I was talking about, like, nigga, that was darker than One Piece when the first dropped. Like,
oh yeah,
niggas was faded and dying, like legit dying.
Like if I'm honest, Naruto, I wouldn't call it childish. I think it touches on a lot of important things. I don't think it goes in depth with them the way that My Hero is setting up to go in depth with them. Horikoshi could. I'll say he could. Not expound upon them and pull the same thing, but like he's been making it a point to be detailed in his analysis. He's been making it a point to be detailed and like how he dives into what's going on with these characters and why these actions are occurring within society and how people feel this way. So I don't expect him to introduce all these concepts and then just let them go. Like that's not what I see happening. No matter what people try to like push for agenda, it's not what's actually being written into the story. It's like how I used to tell people, I used to say we'd get like a villain tournament arc or something like that, comparable to that. And people were like, no, bro, we're not getting a villain's arc. We're not getting a villain's arc. And then what happened? My Villain Academia. So people were like, oh, like Horikoshi doesn't use Class B. Then he used them. Week to week, maybe it was frustrating to read for you, but every insecurity that I see people project on Horikoshi based on other mangaka, he meets the challenge and rises above it. I
That's my
like
that's my thing. Like I was like, y'all niggas got the strongest Naruto PTSD I ever seen in my life, dog. Like, let it go. Y'all got strong Naruto PTSD out the wazoo. I was like, niggas just be like, I be like, it be fans too that be like, next thing it'd be one sketchy little thing. That's not even really sketchy. It's like you just gotta wait for the next chapter. Niggas died in horror already. The Shirikumo thing, niggas was down in horror already. I'd be disappointed if he doesn't. What you nigga? He just did the reveal. Y'all, he did one reveal, just to shock the shock reveal.
yeah.
Y'all need to give the man a chance to drop the second chapter before you started. I'll be disappointed. I expect better. What you mean? The nigga didn't even do nothing yet.
And that's the thing that throws me off those because like you'll have people be like, and like for example, like One Piece fans will be like, oh, where's MHA's Marine for? One, it's coming now. Two, it took One Piece about 10 years to get to Marineford. Three, any the arc, the way this is going to be set up, it will probably, in my eyes, be better than Marineford because it's not going to lead to, a lot of these moments were really questionable power clashes. I don't think we're going to get a bunch of clashes. We're going to get like definitive fights. We're going to get definitive results. And it's not going to just be like, oh, now we're going to segue for 2 years and it's not going to like matter. It's going to matter immediately. That's one of the things that Horikoshi's been doing a really good job. Every incident within that's supposed to be big, it stays relevant. And if Horikoshi has to go away from the main cast to show you how relevant, oh, thanks, Ziad. I'm glad to see you in here. Every event is going to actually tie in like right away. That's why when All Might falls, we get the provisional license exam, which shows the psychological effect of Kamino on Bakugo, Deku, and the students. Then we get into the overhaul arc. But then we also get the remedial course arc where finally, in an organic sense, Endeavor and All Might have a reason to run into each other that isn't, oh, I'm making a weird completely out of character phone call. Because Endeavor was at a point where he wanted to talk to All Might. He was not at a point where he could just call All Might. And so, but both of these things directly stem from the actions of Kamino and us taking a second to look at other people's perspectives and like having those meme chapters where we talk about the heroes are struggling, all these other things. Ever since Kamino, this has been a big thing. And that was building up on the undercurrent during the USJ attack. Everything has been building up towards this. Hold on. Somebody just said, I don't feel like Endeavor's dying. I think he's getting his quirk erased. Tori will have his past exposed, which will affect heroes. So I think
with Dobby in the picture, if it depends on how Endeavor gonna be crippled. If Endeavor lives, he will be crippled, not just from the quirk erasing bullet. Dobby not gonna let this nigga escape scot-free.
If Endeavor lives but loses his quirk, the thing that makes that the hardest is the main reason why I don't see that happening. The main reason I don't see Endeavor living is because we've already got I had to live through my useless phase with All Might, who's probably also dying. So I don't know if Horikoshi is going to be redundant and having two characters go through that I'm useless now arc. Because even Mirio, if you remember when he lost his quirk, his arc didn't transition into I'm struggling with depression and uselessness and having to watch everybody go on. It transitioned into I will take care of Eri and focus on saving this girl in every way possible until I can become the hero that I want to be. And I have Hawks losing his wings, getting them completely burnt to a crisp by Dobby. And like his back is going to be like scarred in the same way. But there's no
Squid. I think Squid or somebody else. Somebody came up with the scary ass idea that what if Shiggy had Shiggy had took Hawk's wings and he was on his Sephiroth shit.
That would be.
Can you imagine that design with the black coat, the long black coat?
Okay, so aesthetically, like Doug says, Squid always got theories. I'm glad Squid is getting like known. Aesthetically, I would rock with that, but I'm gonna need Ujiko to show me he can do transplants. Oh fuck it, he can do transplants. Let's be real here. All right, I guess it works.
Okay.
like I was like, wait, no, like the story material's there. Squid's right. It could happen. Do I see it happening? No, only because Hawks' wings are red. But like, which seems shallow, but I don't think Horikoshi would like. be like, oh
Flash.
yeah, like well because like if he would go for the Sephiroth bit, he's gonna like fully commit to it, I think.
No, you're right. You're right.
And he specifically used moth imagery, so it'd be a little weird, or like moth slash butterfly imagery, so it would be a little strange to switch to angel imagery. And because of the fact that Deku's combat with Shig is turning into the floor is lava, uh, actually, how do I feel about this?
Yeah, exactly. How do you feel about this?
You give me something to chew on, Squid. Because on one hand, I think he doesn't need Hawkswing because he's already kind of busted. But on the other hand, if Bakugo and Deku are fighting Shigaraki at the end there, then the idea of the three of them flying through the air, exploding, decaying, and everything else in, like imagine Deku goes for a black whip midair and like Shigaraki's decaying it, so he has to stop the black whip before the decay travels up the black whip because we've already seen that he can grab energy like that.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be made out of the same stuff as Redestro. So I could see one of the turning points in the fight being like thinking they pinned down Shigaraki, getting Black Whip around him, and then him being like, psych. And that costing somebody their life.
At the gate, I don't need him to play no games. First thing I need is give Ryuku or Mirako, preferably Mirako, just give it a fight. Just do it. I just need these niggas. I need it over with.
I can't have Thick Rabbits dying on me, bro.
No, I don't need her dying. I need her getting the W. I need her clapping cheeks because I'm tired of this female shit. I don't want to hear nothing about the female cast until this war is over. If we don't see Horikoshi give at least 4 female fights with W's, or at least fucking balls to the wall, high end type shit, high end versus Endeavor type shit, then I will accept Horikoshi can use a female class. At this point, we are going into the war. Y'all niggas still don't trust Horikoshi to do something with the female cast, like he don't see this shit.
Like
so I don't want to hear nothing until the goddamn war is over. And then I will accept if he don't do nothing with the females. Until then, we are literally at the war. It ain't no build up to the war. The shit has started.
And my thing is that the women in MHA have character arcs. They just haven't had their own arcs yet. So we just kind of need them to have like big moments in the spotlight. And I think people will really register because like a lot of Momo stuff, for example, is built up in arcs, but it's if you're paying attention, you're going to notice that Momo has an actual character arc. And if you're not completely paying attention, you're fucked. Like let's look at like one guy I know who loves to do the woke Twitter type vibes, even though he's not really that woke. But that's not the point. He likes to complain about like the way Endeavor treated Ray, which is valid, but he likes to completely ignore all the other subtext and all the other nuance to the plot line involving Endeavor and the kids, and didn't even notice that like Ray wrote that letter talking about how she was okay to live with the kids, but didn't want to live with Endeavor. So basically, it's like you care so much about this character, you pay no attention to almost any of the plot lines attached to the character, just so you can be mad on Twitter about it. And so we have a good number of people who read the story. And the thing that's extra funny is that the dude admitted to skimming the series too. Well, like talking to one of his friends, I'm like, you admit to skimming. Why do you think you have good takes? Why do you think your analysis is actually like worth listening to when you admit that you don't actually like read the series in detail? Like, let's be real here. Like, if you tried to talk about like One Piece, Naruto, anything like that, and you had a take that was like that far removed, and it was like, well, this, and this all show that matters, people will clown you all day. Like, it's too easy for people to say dumb shit about My Hero and then like not get challenged on it. And I think it's just because we don't have
I just like, do y'all know y'all niggas don't read.
Oh, know they don't. You know they don't. And I think the part of the issue is we just don't have any like super big YouTube people who are also not obnoxious. Because like our biggest YouTube guy is Pineapple and he spoils like everyone. So
I got Pineapple muted completely on Twitter, and then I got him like muted on fucking on YouTube. And it's just a fun game I like to go see. I like to see how he spoiled the next chapter after it came out. I was like, I wonder how bad he spoiled this one with the thumbnails or what have you. Because I had one mutual. Shout out to my nigga Jose. That nigga was stay getting spoiled on Vocal Pie. I be like, bro, I gotta run and tell this nigga before he even wake up. Texas nigga, don't hop on the TL, dog. I don't know what it is when people hop on the TL and y'all know spoilers out. Niggas can't keep their mouths closed.
And like, I swear we should just like just for the love of God, people just put spoilers on your spoiler discussions. Like, come on.
Actually, for anybody that's here, if you reading and it's not the official vids, we're gonna start this and y'all reading spoilers, put WSJ Weekly Shonen Jump spoiler hashtag Weekly Shonen Jump spoilers WSJ. It take 2 seconds, everybody can mute the thing, and that way nobody gets spoiled because we don't have a choice now unless because now the community divided between vids and scans these other scans because it's not coming out like it used to at the same time. So now we all divided. So I suggest we just do that. It's not that hard to do that shit.
And Turtle's a member of the church, so we know about Turtle, Onyx. We've been watching him blow up as a fan.
He was there at like fucking 100 subs real quick. And
we were there before 100 subs. It's weird. Like watching Turtle blow up has been like crazy. Actually, like dude blew up in like 6 months. It's crazy. Teching, okay. What I'll say about Teching is that his videos can be good, but the most recent one I watched, even he like forgot something that's really important, but I can't remember what it was anymore because I was watching like the first 10 minutes and I was like, this is all explained by da-da-da-da. Like, why is he even confused about this particular matter? But he's still better than like Joy Boy, because Joy Boy made like a My Hero video about Twice and couldn't even remember why Twice got a scar. And I'm like, how do you miss out on something like the scar is like a really big deal, and it's like more or less the emphasis of his story when you first get introduced to him. Like most of the people who like Twice because of chapter 116, I think it was, where that's the chapter where we follow Twice around town, and you know he's like, oh yeah, my name's Twice, and and you finally get like the small intro to who he is and the scene where he like gets his forehead cut by one of his clones. And yeah, he didn't. The multiple quirks. Yeah, thank you, Squid.
No, Spice is one of the most Hawks is now undeniably top. He been top 5. Top 7. One of the top 7 undeniably best ring characters. He's top 7. He's not up for debate at this point.
No, I'm laughing because Squid said we got to get Tekken laid. I mean, if he hung out with me, he might, because he's like 5'6". So, like, he can stand next to me and have like a 6'1" black dude, like, be his wingman. Then again, he might just end up getting cut. Anyway, Twice is Twice squad. I'm excited about all the commanders actually, because I view the Origin Trio as the next big three. So, and I think that they're closer to the big three level now than the big three were at the start of their second year, specifically because of the fact that they've been dealing with I almost said pro villains, but yeah, for lack of a better term, pro villains since they started. Like the USJ attack happens within like 2 weeks of school starting, if I remember. So they get that experience. They carry it over, like Deku to fight Stain, Shoto fight Stain. You know, they got like all these little things going on earlier in the series to help them with polish. And it's been stated numerous times that this batch of first years is dealing with more shit than any other batch of first years has ever had to deal with. They don't even normally get their provisional licenses that early, but they got it after the first term, which means like most of them had 2 terms of having a provisional license. Shoto and Bakugo got benched for an extra couple months. Specifically, they help with power scaling, and then boom, you have Bakugo, Shoto, Deku. Deku, because of his knowledge, the quirk that he has in of itself. Bakugo, again, knowledge, combat knowledge, skill, spent the time polishing, high quality quirk. Shoto, same things. All of them interning under the #1 hero. Mirio, who interned under Night Eye, who was nowhere close to the #1 hero. Or I won't say he was nowhere close, but he wasn't the #1 hero. I actually really want to find out what Night Eye was ranked, because I feel like him being anything below like top 40 doesn't make sense just because he was All Might's former sidekick.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
but yeah, they have the training to be like some top tier, actual like borderline pro level heroes. And they were even stated, like specifically Bakugo and Shoto are stated to be better than like the average pro or good enough to be sidekicks already. Which basically, if you think about it, some sidekicks are essentially pro heroes that just happen to rather work under powerful heroes. Because if Burnin is as famous as, you know, like characters like Manuel, uh, then she's probably actually pretty solid and just prefers to work with Endeavor. So I think that's something that people need to keep in mind also, especially since sidekicks being younger generations having better quirks usually. More than likely, some of these sidekicks are around at the average pro level. Like you aren't gonna tell me Manuel's way above Burnin. Like Manuel's an average hero. Burnin would be like an average hero. So the kids being above that, not that crazy when you think about everything they've been through and what they've got.
And all the growth they're getting now in the field. And then plus let's point out some facts here. People complain about Ocho not getting enough fights or this shine or what this that, and other. Mind you, she's had more fights against villains and dubs against villains than Bakugo.
True, actually, because she did.
Well, no, Shoto got one more than her because it was actually fighting Stain, but she slammed Toga.
Yeah, no, she effectively would have won against Toga if she would have like just like elbowed her in the back of the neck or some shit, which is some stuff that I would do. But like, like she would have just like dropped the elbow on her neck or anything like that. That's an automatic W. Like she outplayed Toga, but that's also like you got to remember that Toga wasn't thinking as like clearly she was there to have fun. Whereas when she was, you know, finessing Aizawa and Rock, she didn't want any of them. So like it was 100% serious kill mode. Just like when she threw the knife in the dude's neck that was standing next to what's her name, Curious.
Yeah.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Hopefully, you know, the anime gives us a little extra time with her before she goes splat. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think where this chapter is set up, I'm satisfied.
What's your favorite color right now? What's your favorite squadron color?
Man, okay, so let me look at these real quick because I got to look at the squad. Like the right now, off of like design is actually it's like either it's the violet platoon or it might be the brown. Specifically because the people like the number 2 dude in brown looks like one of the dudes that's number 2 in brown looks like he might secretly be a martial artist. But the people in the violet platoon actually all have designs that it's like I feel like they're all actual trouble that you don't want to deal with. Like that looks like the division that like pulls up and they're like, all right, look, we in here. Like, and you can even tell by the Vanguard Action Guerrilla Warfare Regiment, bro. Guerrilla warfare, it's bro. They popping out of school buildings on you like that. This is guerrilla war is some next level stuff.
I literally imagine the heroes just walking or running straight through, straight up the hill, and then I can just imagine like a whole somebody just like took the floor away and it was a big ass booby trap and niggas start falling in that bitch. Like yeah. I can imagine you think that shit.
Like the Dabi Gaten unit, their goal is to bring Vietnam to the Japan, basically. Like that whole, which I don't know how much you know about like guerrilla warfare in Vietnam, but one of the things they would do was pitfall traps with bamboo spikes in them. And then they would actually put feces on the bamboo spikes so that if you fell in there and you didn't get injured too severely, you would still die of infection. So that's the kind of warfare that I'm expecting to see out of fucking the guerrilla warfare unit.
PC, would you waiting for twice to close like 50 close and then you see them all sitting in the
Why is that the direction you chose to go? Ochako could get it. Ooh.
Ochako can what?
Okay, so Squid was pointing out that if Ochako had just put Toga into a rear naked chokehold back then, instead of being patient and kind, that the PLF would be down a commander, which that is an important aspect of the story. Like if you think back to the joint training arc where Tokoyami gets taken out, it's because he didn't just make sure to smack her hard enough to knock her unconscious. So that is a thing that like heroes holding back can cost them. So I think us seeing a case of a hero holding back and it finally getting them killed is an inevitability. So it's probably a good thing Minetta's no longer a simp, because before that, I would say that he's gonna die because he's gonna end up like being pervy. And unlike One Piece where Sanji can be a perv forever and like nobody killed him yet, this I don't think Minetta's getting away with being like pervy against some like villain. She's just gonna kill him.
Yeah, that ain't even been. That been cooling, so I don't want to hear nobody. That really gonna go there, and I just can't wait for people to start capping us, man. He had like a brief glimpse to his backstory, so I kind of see where he was coming from. I feel like I see where his motivation stems from, as perverness ever so slightly. Because he only, for me, that has only actually ever been out of pocket one time. Because I even had somebody confirm, a female actually confirmed that Mineta was a handsome looking nigga that half the shit, bitches wouldn't even mind half the shit he do. Because there be plenty of MCs that get away with a bunch of shit, or an old man because they get away with a bunch of shit. And I'm like, all right, so Master Roshi ain't hit on young Boma when the bitch was like 17, 16, asked to see her like her pussy. But the niggas be just letting that slide. I'm like, all right. That has been out of control one time, one fully time. That was like, all right, this nigga going too far. And after rereading the viz, it's the shit he said with Air. He's like, look me up in 10 years. I feel like he just had a stigma on him that like he was talking about, hit him up, but in the viz he said, look me up.
That's still the same thing. Like, it's that moment when he was sniffing Hagakure's underwear drawer with her like standing right there. That's just out of pocket. Like that's
yeah, he could have waited. He could have waited for that one. At least she wasn't there, though. I was like, all right, no, you could have lied. You couldn't wait till she wasn't there.
Like that. Like regardless, like that's some creepy shit, bro. Like I can't lie. The Great Buckler thing where he calculated so that he was smashing Amina's titty during joint training arc.
That was funny. That's out of pocket for that. Like the little taxi you gotta go through that do some shit like that.
Here's the thing.
Funny because it doubled as a flex moment for Mineta, and for not only his strength but his skill and his genius, because he is number like 7 smartest in the class. And then he was like, on top of that, he was like, all right, I got a comedic moment for this shit too. And like I got stuff for this moment. But
just because as a reader it's funny doesn't mean that like contextually it's still not out of pocket.
I feel like we only feel like this because the characters are so real.
And then feel like my stance is that like I always think the old man is creepy, but you got to bring more to the table. And Minetta's getting to a point as a character where he's starting to bring way more to the table while simultaneously dropping like the sexual shticks. So like he's been out of pocket multiple times, like with Mina, with Sue, with Hagakure. I wouldn't consider what he did to Momo at the sports festival sexually inappropriate. That was just him cashing in on her being like way more athletic than him. But like the thing is, like he's stopped doing that kind of stuff. So you got to give him praise for that, because you respect, like being better at respecting your peers and like actually treating them right is exactly how you go from like Mineta, who at the start of the series was never going to get laid, to maybe eventually getting laid.
I can't wait for that. I want to get a chick. Well, I can't wait till times can happen and Mineta hook up with LeBron. That's all I need. Two midge.
Is Gentle dying?
What the hell? Oh wait, you're right. I'm bugging.
Like, which actually I do see Gentle dying, but I also see Gentle being really clutch in the next 50 chapters or so. I could see him coming back and actually making some moves. And LaBrava, because here's the thing, is that they have a technological disadvantage right now, but you got people like Melissa Shield, you got Mei Hatsume, and then if you want like the information perspective, you can get LaBrava involved, and then you now have 3 technological women to help them combat and like catch up to what the PLF have at the table, and then you have people with decent quirks, so you can slowly build up the resistance that's like on its way. I think My Hero, like this war arc, isn't going to be a war arc so much as the story is now about a war, like an active war, where it's, yes, today this happened, but now we're gonna switch to like guerrilla regiments, people having to do hit and run tactics, and slowly disrupting the new society that is to come. or we're going to end up back in the All for One days, and we're going to get to see Shigaraki ripping off arms and all kinds of stuff like that, having people cry as they die, like All for One. One of the two. But
Horikoshi so damn funny, man. Because I love it when he just be like lying through his teeth, or he just be acting like he ain't did something like the last week. Like in the interview for the movie, he was like, going forward, he was like, I can't since I've been jumped or whatever. I'm like, I can't really show, people getting their arms like cut off or amputated, stuff like that. And I'm like, now you gonna sit here and act like you just didn't have Shigaraki slush his whole family in half? Really? You act like he didn't have his slush his whole entire family? You can act like you just did right NVA. Okay. You gonna act like you did right now? Okay.
well, I mean, you got to remember though, like when he did that, what was that? The C2E2 Connect CEO, which a lot of people do need to remember that is a Shueisha subsidiary, so that effectively is somebody who could get him fired, complaining about how My Villain Academia is so taboo, blah blah blah, and it's like, dog, shut up and collect the money that this dude's about to make you, and give us a good game. Because I'm still buying the new My Hero game, even if it's not that good. But that's because I want a good game. You know what I mean? So, all right. I think I'm gonna end it around here though, just because we've been going for about an hour. I want to thank everybody that showed up. I'm thinking about doing this. If you're, like quick to respond, just real quick. I've been thinking about making this the norm for My Hero chapter. So if you guys like live reactions, please let me know, because I will gladly keep doing this. I actually kind of prefer it because in real time you kind of get to see me like pick at the chapter a little bit and see the way it all works out. But yeah, so when I end the stream, just if you see it, comment if you liked it, comment, share, like, subscribe. You all know how YouTube works. I don't need to like repeat that to you. But yeah, thank you, East, for coming out. Hopefully next time we can get a couple more people in here, really get the discussion popping. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to make this a weekly thing. I think MHA deserves. I think MHA kind of deserves somebody doing weekly live reactions and discussions. I think it'll be good for the community overall if we kind of get this to become a normal thing. So yeah, everything's set though. You got anything you want to promote, push, East? You got any ideas, any agendas you need to push real quick?
No. Oh yeah. I don't want to hear nothing about the females until the war over. That's it. Simple as that. When we get through the war and he ain't did a single thing for any females, then I'll listen. Until then, I don't want to hear nothing. Ain't no more. Well, when we get the war in 20 chapters, when we get the war in 10, no, it's starting now. Yeah, like what, 3-4 more set of chapters, but we starting action real soon. So I don't want to hear anything about the females until the war is over. There we go.
I'm gonna just say, make sure y'all keep plugging along, reading. Check out other series too. Make sure you read other things. Jujutsu Kaisen's good. We Never Learn's about to end. All kinds of different series in Jump right now. Make sure you check out Side of Jump. Kodonashi's got good series too. Read some American.
Check out Chainsaw Man is heat, especially the current arc that's finna starting up right now.
See, so like that being said though, like you guys all have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourself. And we'll meet again next week, hopefully. All right, Aniki and East out.